Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about a few different stories, including the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion, Melody's message today via TikTok, and Stormy actually interviewed on CNBC, giving her opinion on the possible TikTok ban. Now, before we get into these stories, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. Everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on this CNBC clip is allowed. And CNBC, I know that you are an extension of NBC, and I know how you all like to flag videos. I'm getting this clip from Stormy's Instagram page. I hope that it will be okay. Now, let's go ahead and get started. So, as you all can see, this is reported by OMFG Reality TV on Instagram. Shout out to them. They have announced that the finale for the current season of Love and Marriage Huntsville will air on January 25th, next weekend. So, including tomorrow night's episode, we have 2 episodes left before the reunion airs, starting on February the 1st. And it will be at least 2 parts. I'm guessing about 3 parts, perhaps. And so, Love and Marriage Huntsville will conclude by sometime in February, probably mid February. What do you all think? This feels like such a long season. Typically, the reunion starts airing in January, and by the end of January, the season concludes. But obviously, this season had a few more episodes, and it just seems very long and exhausting this time around. So we'll have to see. I'm wondering, are they going to do a video montage about Kiki? Rest in peace to her, of course. Will they talk further about Moses and where he is right now? We'll just totally have to see what they're going to do. I think in these last couple of episodes, I believe they were filmed in July, I think. So if I'm accurate about that, it's just strange that there's like no conversation about what happened to Kiki and them losing her. But I think these last 2, maybe 3 episodes, like 2 episodes, I think those were filmed in July, when she passed, I think. But it's just strange to not hear any of that commentary. Maybe they're going to save it for the season finale. That could be something that they're going to do as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think that before we get to the reunion and that season finale airs, we're not going to see any sort of tribute to Kiki Jabbar or no acknowledgement of her passing? Or do you think that it will be a part of the season finale? I'm hoping that it will at least be a part of the season finale. We know that the season concludes with Chris and Nell Fletcher's wedding renewal, but I don't know if they're going to do those 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. With Kiki, with everything that happened last summer, that sadness, and then you have Chris and Nell Fletcher's wedding renewal. That's very positive, uplifting, very hopeful. So I don't know, as a producer, if they would put such contrasting stories in the same episode. I know in the news world, when you watch your local hard news, they try to divvy it up just because it's like such an extreme to be up on a positive story and then you come all the way down. They try to stagger it and kind of like, fly that plane. But we'll have to see in the reality TV world. They may do it that way. We will absolutely have to see. Now, earlier today, Melody was on TikTok and she looked beautiful. I loved her outfit as well as her hair and makeup. I thought she looked gorgeous. She did flash sales. I was working, and so I was pretty much just trying to hear what she had to say and check things out. And so Melody, when I tuned in, she was talking about not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, especially if you are a parent. Melody said that, your kids, they witness everything. Kids are so observant. Some people say that they are like sponges. And so they definitely take in all of their surroundings, their environment. She said that you can't just verbally teach your kids things that you yourself are not carrying out in your own life. She said, if kids notice that inconsistency, they are not going to respect the things that you're teaching them, because in their minds, they're thinking, well, mom, you're not even living it. So I thought that that was a great message. That's also a message that you don't really hear too much, right? Because typically the saying is what? Do as I say and not as I do. And that is so incorrect, y'all, in my opinion. It's such a cop out for you to try to drill something into your kids that you yourself are not carrying out. And I also feel like in some environments where it's typically just angled at what you're doing wrong, kind of like just some churches, some people in some churches, not all churchgoers and not all churches, but some people who attend some churches, that is typically the tone of the constant lectures and judgment. So she is saying you have to walk the walk. You cannot just talk the talk. And I thought that that was such an important message. And she made a video reel of herself, definitely looking super duper cute. And I love it when a woman can dress for comfort and make it stylish. That is just amazing, because she was on her feet, she was selling, and then she was also packaging. When she ended that live, she said, okay, I'm going to get ready to package right now. And then she posted on her IG stories tonight, for all of you who ordered during today's TikTok, 90% of the packages have been packaged and scanned, and the other 10%, they're going to go out tomorrow. Like, she is just super duper focused and works so hard. So definitely shout out to the beautiful, lovely Melody Cherie. And also, I want to head on over. I have Stormy's Instagram page up so that we can talk about her thoughts on the TikTok ban. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I want to make sure that you all can see it there. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic so that there is no echo, and we will listen to Stormy talk about the TikTok ban. And thanks again for watching, and please hit the like button. Thank you.
Time the clock is ticking on TikTok as the ban is set to go into effect on Sunday. But incoming President Trump may be looking for ways to block the shutdown. TikTok CEO is actually going to attend the inauguration. What might that mean? Well, it's anybody's guess. But regardless, TikTok will not be the same, whether under new management or gone for good. Any disruption could hit the platform as well, especially what's called the TikTok shop, along with the businesses that use it. And your next guest is the owner and founder of Canvas Beauty brand, selling 1 million units total on TikTok on Black Friday, even surpassing 2 million in sales in one day. One of the first to ever use the live stream TikTok feature. I'm pretending to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Stormy Steele, and we have confirmed that is indeed her real name.
Yes, it is.
Joining us, coming up from Huntsville. Stormy, welcome. I'm not going to pretend to know half of what I just said, but what would a TikTok shutdown mean for you, your brand, your employees, and Huntsville, Alabama, where you're based?
To be honest, I feel like what's not being considered with the TikTok shop ban is the morale on the American people, right? I feel like it will be totally against 170 plus million people's right to speech, freedom of speech. And then on top of that, like, it'll directly impact their income in a significant way. Some people only find joy on TikTok shop platform in the palm of their hands. So outside of just financially, we got to talk about the Americans' like emotional stability. Some people like rely on this heavily. And as for me, we've done 3 million in a single day. And not only just us, a lot of people are connected to our brand through affiliates. They make money off of this. So I feel like if TikTok Shop was to leave, I would personally consider it to be one of the greatest like layoffs in American history.
So what would you do? I mean, thank you for giving us a sense of what the financials are. Because we always feel awkward asking people like, how much money do you make? You know, but we're trying to give us a sense of what's at stake. So now that you know, because we all thought a few weeks ago, maybe this isn't going to happen. And now it's like, okay, maybe it is. So what's the backup plan?
So I feel like no one really knows. A lot of people right now are already omni-channel. So we're on other platforms, but there's nothing like the power of the TikTok algorithm. And there's nothing like what TikTok has been able to do with TikTok Shop. They've somehow figured out a way to seamlessly integrate live selling with a brand, with a person who's sitting at home who can literally find something in their home and say, I love this. Let me go tell my friends about it and generate income.
Have you tried Instagram or some of the other options?
Oh, definitely. We've tried other platforms. We've seen success with other platforms, but we've never seen anything like TikTok Shop.
So you think they're just better at it? What makes TikTok so good?
I think it's the power of community. The fact that you can connect with your consumer. It's the one app. It doesn't matter who you are, how you look, what you have going on. You can turn your camera on and you can connect to your audience. You can connect to a person that's just like you. And then on top of that, with TikTok Shop, you can tell people about the things that you love and generate income.
I do think as both a user and as a wannabe creator, it's so hard sometimes to just put this content out that takes a lot of work. But I do think the algorithms on TikTok are better.
Yeah.
And I look at Instagram, I go, you have Meta, you have Mark Zuckerberg. Like, how hard can it be to replicate the algorithm from TikTok? And they've copied Snap, they've copied many things in the past.
We don't see her get worked up about much like this, by the way, Stormy. I want to be clear.
I went viral my first week on TikTok Shop. Wow. I went viral my very first week, and we have been on an upward trajectory ever since. We did 50 million in sales last year. Wow. And it was because of the power of TikTok Shop. Not only that, because of our products, affiliates are able to enjoy our products, tell other people about it, and those people are in turn able to make money as well. So when I say like to lose TikTok Shop, it would be devastating. So I feel like the entire American morale and people, like, it'll be a big layoff.
But my guess is, Stormy, that you don't care who owns TikTok. I'm guessing. So if TikTok were to stay alive but be based here and do everything exactly the same, let's say it's exactly the same. Nothing changes, but it goes from China to Phoenix, Huntsville. Do you care?
I do care. And I care because as a business owner, I never want someone to be able to tell me who has to own my business. I think that's not right. And I think it goes against, like, once again, the American dream. It's impactful. It makes me feel like my voice does not matter. It makes me feel like someone can tell me what I have to do with my business. And that is not what this company, this culture of America is supposed to be based upon. So I don't agree.
That's fascinating. Thank you for coming on to tell your story and how you feel about it. If it
can happen to them, it can happen to any one of us.
Stormy, we appreciate it.
I don't know if the Supreme Court watches Power Lunch or CNBC, but if that's a good message, it's a different take than just the legal argument. There's also, to Stormy's point, the human argument.
That's where the politicians come in. The Supreme Court might have to say what it's going to have to say by law, but the politicians can come in and try to kick the can down the road.
Well, the fact that the CEO is appearing at the inauguration may be a tell, because even if the Supreme Court says, right, maybe the incoming president will be like, let's keep it around.
Can pull something out of there.
Yeah.
Stormy Steele, real name.
Yes, real name.
Canvas Beauty.
Thank you.
Time the clock is ticking on TikTok as the ban is set to go into effect on Sunday. But incoming President Trump.
Okay, so you heard Stormy Steele give her opinion on the TikTok ban on CNBC's Power Lunch. And she described it. I thought this was very interesting. Stormy said that if TikTok is banned here in the United States, it would be considered the biggest layoff in American history. Now, I do disagree with that. And it's not because I adore Melody Cherie and this is a pro Melody Cherie channel. It has nothing to do with that for anyone who is anti-Melody, right? The reason why I disagree is when I think of layoffs and I think of like it affecting the US economy, I think about people losing jobs and then now they can't pay their mortgages and now the housing market has crashed and now we're in a recession. And then the US recession is so intense that it affects the global economy. Like that's when I think of the largest, number of layoffs in American history. I think of a recession. Now, the TikTok ban in the US, would it impact some employees, some people who work for the companies that primarily sell on TikTok? Absolutely. But I am curious to know, what are those numbers? Does Stormy have like dozens of employees? And the other companies that sell on TikTok, are they like themselves their only employee? I feel like the number of households affected is way smaller for the e-commerce that primarily sells on TikTok versus when you have an economic depression here in the United States. So, no, I don't feel like the TikTok ban, if it were to come to fruition, it would not lead to the biggest layoff in American history. I do think that Stormy probably meant different language. I think she means in terms of out of everyone who works in sales, regardless of the industry, whether it's beauty like Stormy, or if you sell, the mortgage lender that you work for, if you sell cars, or if you sell clothes, if you just work in sales, period, I think Stormy is saying that the TikTok ban would cause, the largest reduction in sales in the beauty industry or just in sales, period. That I think makes more sense. I think the word layoffs was a little off. And I think it was just like her wording choice that kind of didn't make sense. But she said that she did not think that it was right when the gentleman asked the question, well, Stormy, let's say nothing changes about TikTok. Nothing will change. You will not be impacted. Just a different person owns it. Are you okay? I'm sure that they were hoping that, the black girl would say, oh, yes, massa. Yes, I'd be okay if y'all let a white man buy TikTok from the Asian people. And Stormy said, no, I don't agree with that because I wouldn't want anyone telling me that someone else has to own my business. And then she flipped it on those two white journalists and said, if it could happen to them, meaning the owners of TikTok, it could happen to any of us. And they were down with it. I feel like they understood, and I think that I felt like those two journalists at that table, they seemed pretty open-minded and tech savvy enough to where like, I think they enjoy TikTok. I think that they are on the app at least enough to not want it to go away. And they seemed hopeful. They seemed glad that the owner is going to attend the inauguration on Monday. And so, they wanted to get Stormy's take on it, and that is what she gave. What are your thoughts on Stormy's interview? Do you agree that if TikTok does get banned in the United States, that it will be the largest layoff in American history? Or do you think that it's just a matter of, sales would significantly decrease, in whatever industries are sold on TikTok? Definitely let me know. And also, what did you think about Melody's message regarding when, you're raising kids, you have to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. No more do as I say and not as I do. What do you think about that? I think that it's great when like, a millennial is like giving messages out here, and Melody gives that awesome balance between she definitely knows and remembers some things of old, some traditions, She definitely incorporates scripture from the Bible into her messages, but she is also young and open-minded and from the new and says, We're not all about just dragging people through the mud, letting them know what they do wrong as a way to teach spirituality or religion, if you will. But she's saying you have to walk the walk as well. I think that it is very refreshing. I thank you all so much for checking out this video. I always appreciate the support. Please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to the channel. The weekend is here. The 3-day weekend is here. Thank God for Dr. Martin Luther the King Jr. I'm sounding like the guy from Coming to America. Dr. Martin Luther the King. Okay, I'm so thankful for him. And you and I can live in whatever city or township we want to live in. We can go to a bank and get a loan, and it is illegal for them to deny us based off of our race, color, creed, religion, thanks to MLK and all of the other countless others who sacrificed time away from their families, sacrificed their lives, got spat on, dogs got sicked on them, just so that you and I can have these freedoms today. So thank you, Dr. King, for your contributions and your sacrifice. And my brother, he used to, like when we all would like burn CDs and put songs on them. When I was in college, there was this India Irie song out. And I said, we called him Junior, Clifton Jr. I was like, can you make me a CD with this India Irie song? And he ended up putting this MLK speech on it. And so, family drives me back to Lansing. I'm in my dorm room. I'm unpacking and I'm playing the CD and this MLK speech comes on. And Dr. King is preaching, saying that he knows he's going to go. And he says, he don't want a long funeral. He said, just know that I did what I was called to do. And I'm paraphrasing. I have to look up that CD. I have to look up that speech. But it was the self-fulfilling prophecy was a lot. And if you've ever read the autobiography of Malcolm X, he says in the beginning, it is my belief that I too will die violently, like the men in my family, like my dad and he starts naming all of these men in his family that died violently. And that self-fulfilling prophecy, it came to pass. And it's just a lot. I remember like when I was a kid, my mom used to joke about, I'm going to probably get old timers. She would call Alzheimer's old timers. And she would joke about it. And, I got older parents. I was a late baby. So sure enough, when I was 24, she started showing signs of dementia. She was gone 5 years later. It just seemed like the dementia progressed to Alzheimer's and it just seemed super duper aggressive with her. But I felt like that self-fulfilling prophecy, was it there? And it just always kind of like rocks my world. And I'm human. Sometimes I get frustrated or I may be pessimistic, but I do work at trying to be positive because I don't want no negative self-fulfilling prophecy going forth in my life or in yours. And when I think of some of our civil rights leaders, I do think about that just because I read those words in Malcolm X's book and I heard those words from Dr. King in that speech. But thanks again for checking out this video and I will talk with y'all soon. Bye.